answer is yes, ladies and gentlemen. And so it is. The answer is yes to the truth of discovering of this amazing age of greatness, of truth, of excellence, of embodiment, of course. Planetary level embodiment. And what's critical is that we see the importance of our legacy in this now moment of this time frame, and we let go of all of those 3D realities. Like, not to make this about me, but I spent so long clearing 3D realities when I realized, oh my gosh, I already gave my contract. I already completed my soul contract. Like, why am I even worrying about that? And so, we're like, and they say it over and over, but it's like, and when I mean they, I mean like the higher vibrational densities, higher vibrational beings. They're saying like this guy is here, and he's literally like he's mastered fifth dimensional consciousness. He's mastered the understanding of what this plasma interconnectivity is occurring and transitioning into and creating, and he's mastering this environment all the time because he's not aware of the 3D elements of it, and it's just ignored. And like headquarters of federations, we got some upgrades that have been just going ham, which is so amazing. Like, once again, like, true shout out to that connection of like true unity, which is just absolute bliss. It's literally like telepathy, like saying the same thing at the same time, and like we say the same things at the same time, and we literally think the same things at the same time. I know it's real, and we are meant to align, and those higher vibrational realities are there. And maybe I should spend more time teaching telepathy or telekinesis or all that stuff, or just more in the space of being a healer and healing, and being the comforter and the one who eases Gaia through the shifts that she's going through and occurring on her surface. And we had some, you can feel the shifts in Gaia. I can feel the shifts in Gaia, and so I embraced Gaia with my higher vibrational reality, and I could literally see and feel the golden light, and I can literally feel and see beings walking around in this high vibrational light. I can literally see them and feel them, and they're a part of my reality. And it's not like they're not part of my reality. They are so a part of my reality. And then we realize, what energy are we putting into this plasma? What energy are we putting into the cosmos? Ultimately, what cosmic energies do we align with our ego, or what cosmic energies do we align with the divine within? And I feel like that's really important for me, aligning with the divine within. And there's always just synchronicity with all the elementals and with all the trees, with nature and the balance of nature and the 4 or 5 elements. So that's a lot of clarity right there. And I want to, I uniquely personify, my own great, unique diligence throughout through all of consciousness, through all higher vibrational consciousness, because I've already completed my soul contract, or I say that, but that's, the truth is, there's a lot of weird things going on with, weird things because I don't really know the full story, but the weird things going on with, like, something called the black cube and the black sun, or just some negative entities, or not negative entities, but just lower vibrational entities, if you will, or lower vibrational energy thought patterns that are just existing, and they kind of blow about, and they don't really do much. But like the higher vibrational realities of, the headquarters of the Federation being here, the benevolence factor in, the benevolence environment that's here, and that guy is all about, and that the divine are all about, and divine beings, and the awakening of all the things we're doing in the solar system. Like, so that's a really big thing. Like, all the things, like, we're going to be able to travel the solar system and visit different parts of the solar system and go to different parts of the solar system. And we are, we're going to travel to Neptune, we're going to travel to Uranus, we're going to travel to Pluto, we're going to travel to Saturn and to Jupiter and to all the moons over there, and to, or at least that's in my lifetime, my lifestyle. So, if you want to be a part of that, I'm really creating this 12-year campaign to really absolutely create this. I'm a part of this amazing, beneficial reality that's non-linear and has to do with the higher vibrationals of what is the reality of unconditional love, bliss, truth, freedom, etc., compassion, but mostly just compassion and unconditional love and bliss. That's like the reality that exists. That's the truth of it. And there's going to be a lot of, I think, or going to be a lot of, I can't really say, but there's I understand the differences in the different energies, shakings, and that's going to happen. Excuse me. As in, there's going to be energy shifts. I mean, as in, Gaia is transforming, and, Gaia is transforming, as we exist, as we speak, as we walk upon her, we're transforming with Gaia as well. And I noticed that. I know that myself for a fact, because when I close my eyes, I see golden light, and I see golden beings going out and, doing things with my eyes closed. I see golden light, and I see these beings, and I know they're there, and I know they're real. And it's like they're just going about their entire lives. And what was interesting to me is, they were going about their lives as if I wasn't there. And I was like, I'm here, I'm literally present. Why are these beings just going all around me, just going through, it's literally the best way to describe it. It's like a reality that we're aware of, that you're aware of. I just remember closing my eyes and seeing so vividly, while I was, I wasn't asleep or anything, but I can close my eyes and I can see, this golden light, this bright, this light that's golden. I can see beings, walking around and moving around, around me, and it's I know there's other dimensions. I already know there's other dimensions, but the thing is, I know my guides are there, and I know they're always guiding me, and what's amazing is that I'm feeling lighter, and, I obviously haven't felt my lightest, I obviously haven't, I'm not, super light, the purest light, and, the DNA activations have stopped, because I'm still feeling lighter. I'm getting filled with energy. It's unlike any other energy I've ever felt before, but I'm just full of it. I'm full of so much energy that I can't describe it. I don't know how to describe this feeling that I have, but I'm just on overdrive. But of course, I do know the importance of rest, and I encourage the importance of rest all throughout the cosmos, especially on Gaia. And I'm sensing, I'm sensing my guides. I'm definitely sensing, angel energy, archangel energy, and it was really cool. It's just little really cool information about music, because I'm, the director and founder of the Fourfold Projects, more importantly, specifically the Project Vocal Earthshake, in terms of music, and in terms of, so I felt that, symphonic, prophetic joy, and the symphonic, celestial melodies and celestial music that goes on all the time, and we're always in tune with that, and you can hear it in all things. And what's also interesting is everything is coalescing together. Everything is really one. You're just one with all life, and there's no judgment, and there's no bad decisions, there's no bad choices. There's nothing like that. And that's what's really important, because this is like a new reality, and that's what I'm involved in, being the heavenly revolutionaire that I am. I can really walk and be and exemplify as the Christ itself that I am, exemplifying the Christed ways and exemplifying the Christed walk, and really being that. truly incarnated Christ being that I am, manifesting this truly infinite, incredible creative power that I have, that tell myself that I have. Telling yourself that you have the ability to do something like loving in yourself and trusting yourself, I think is pretty important and almost common sense. But we self-talk, or not self-talk, but just believing yourself and not really having any thoughts of unworthiness is really good for you. And personally, I've done that for the past about 5 months, 6 months or so, but more specifically 5 months. I've trained that way. Trained myself. Well, not trained is not the best word, even though, training is a part of it. But I've allowed myself to really go within and really do all those diligent, good things that I do. And they really specifically have to do with tons and tons and tons and dozens and just countless missions and countless correlations and countless meetings and countless embassy connections with other embassies, with other ambassadors, with other beings, with other higher dimensional beings, or other creators, other planets, other parts of the galaxy, other galactic aspects of the self, other galactic aspects of the family, connecting with one another, connecting with us. I've been doing a lot of understanding of my true sovereignty as a galactic citizen and as a cosmic citizen. And I've been doing my duties as a galactic citizen. Some places are different than others. Some planets are different than others. Every scenario is different. Every ship is different. Every crew is different. Every team is different. But, I've had scenarios that have differences in time with time here. And so that's why I'm really feeling this blend of power and awakening occurring in my dreams. Like, I go to sleep and then I wake up and I think that I become more able to be in tune with my dreams and be in tune with what I want to create and be in tune with like that DMT part of myself, that unconscious part of myself, more in tune with the subconscious part of myself. And I think that's great. But what's happening is I become twice as powerful. I just believe in myself as the essence of that dream energy, and I emanate that dream energy because I possess it. I possess that might of dream control, of dream ascension, understanding, essence, clarity. It's like being a dragon. I feel like that's the best analogy. It's like being a dragon. Like, you don't half be a dragon. You don't part way be a dragon. You don't, like, you just commit to it. Like, it's like you are a dragon, for example. So it's like those aspects of ourselves. But anyway, in general, it just seems like these energies, and we'll call it June energies, are about going within and being really patient with the self, especially, and this is, of course, this specifically is coming from Air of Light, what I'm about to say, June 15th to June 20th, to really be more in tune with the dream writing and in tune with the self and make a journal and keep a journal and all that stuff. And I definitely encourage that, because that actually, it just keeps track of all those, the time spent and that mindset and that coolness and that calmness and that just absolute steady, resolute, because I have incredibly powerful, what I would call just like I feel just intense energy, plasma energy, like coming from my head, coming from me, coming from like my heart. And like, I feel I'm very heart-centered, and like I have this upper part of my body and then this lower part of my body. There's the heart, and then there's the lower brain, and then the upper brain. And it's kind of what it is. It's just like this vessel that has, it's pretty cool looking. Now I think about it that way, a heart thing with other things attached to it. So anyway, that dream state, that higher state of mentality, like practicing, I would practice what I did is, like, I would stay up, and, gosh, it was so much fun, dude. Oh, so much fun. So much freaking fun. I would get totally just absolutely in the zone. I'd have whatever the freak I'd have. I'm not going to go into details about that, but you can just guess and assume, and you'd probably guess right. But I'd go into that state of mind, and then I'd go freaking full on, just awesomeness, just super powered, in tune, focused, dedicated. Like, this is a mission / career, with the diligence of my mindset applied to the technology of where it comes to communication between other galaxies and other universes and other multiverses and other stuff like that. So, where is I going with that? So, like, that's what I did. I would spend hours, like, pretty much, like, all day. And then, I'd eat, and then I'd spend, like, all day, and then, night would come, and then there were times where it's just, like, there's gotta be something out there that's, so that's one part of it. There's an aspect of where we can go into this deeper level of understanding and what we can do and what we can comprehend and conquer. And so I would just go into that understanding that I can conquer, like, all my fears. Like, there's no fears that I have anymore. So I spent a long time conquering my fears, and I did have fears. I did have things I was afraid of. I did have, instances where I would, look outside and it'd be really dark, and it's just like, it sounds so weird, because, of course I know fear is unreal. I know that now. But, I was, looking at the dark, my backyard, and it was dark and scary and spooky, and it's large, and there's a lot of, trees and a lot of different types of nature things, and it's just, there's a lot of dark stuff, and I felt like there was always someone who was like 30 trillion steps ahead of me. And, because there's, like, those entities, and if you know about the Draconians and their ability to be interdimensional beings that can, be in the same room or house as you and not be seen because of, different technology capabilities that they have with their ships, or whether it does or doesn't have to do with their ships. That's, like, a real thing. And so, like, I knew that interdimensional entities were real, and therefore I knew that powerful interdimensional beings were real, and I knew I had to be that powerful. And I knew that I was that powerful. I knew that I had a divine being within me. Actually, I don't think I knew at that time, but I just knew that I was strong and I was a guardian, and that I can truly unite my creative ability with this other dimension, with these other dimensions. And so that's what I did. And what I did differently is I just completely, which is weird that I'm monologuing about this. Anyway, but I like this monologue, and I'm really intelligent, and I'm a heavenly revolutionaire, so I'm that badass and can do that sort of thing. But anyway, so I had to develop these interdimensional abilities, which I knew I had, which I knew I could conquer and develop, and because I just knew that we are multidimensional beings. I know that I'm multidimensional, and I put that to the test, and my dreams became stranger and stranger, and weirder, and just more bizarre, until I began translating my dreams. I began translating my dreams. I try to be as awake as possible in my dream state. Speaking words, sentences. I created Project Reconfiguration is about having, those four sort of languages combined into one, and have that be a language. And so I learned that language to be something that's not only universal, but can be comprehended consciously and in the superconscious, but more importantly in the subconscious and in the unconscious, so that no matter what was said and no matter what I I would always be alert. So therefore, I knew I had to get rid of some certain things, some 3D ideologies, because they just didn't fit in the puzzle. Because, you know, like I couldn't think of, sometime in the future is when I'm going to be able to do all the things I want to do, or sometime in the future is when I'm going to be happy, or sometime in the future, or sometime later. Anytime but now is when I'm going to admit that I'm where I should be. And I realized that I'd never get there, especially, but anyway, that's digressing, because I already there, I'm present, I'm here, I'm in the now moment, which is, a very higher vibrational form of being fully present. And, I learned to be fully present in my dreams, and then I learned to be fully present in reality. And that was something that happened recently, probably in the past 3 weeks or so, but more so in the past few days, 3 days. And there's other energies that help, and the other guides that are helping, they're such a huge assistance, because they put you back on their soul path. And, honestly, I think, like, today, and, like, I feel like there's been a little, what I would describe as, what may seem like we're not fully on our soul journey, but that's normal. Like, we're gonna feel all sorts of things, and that's totally normal, and I like that. So more importantly, I mastered that state of being in my dream state. I knew that I was a powerful being when I'm asleep, and I'm a powerful being when I'm awake, and that I can tap into my dream abilities. And dream abilities means I can do whatever I want. It started off with this dream abilities, I'm going to be realistic. I would be involved in, and it's going to make sense when I say this. And it sounds something that's not that important, but it really is. And it's important and vital to me. And I realize why, because of the amazing impacts that just my presence has upon others. And I noticed that. And I'm going to talk about that separately later. So first things first, how to master dream abilities. So I was gaming, and I would game, and, there would be people across the world who would, fall asleep while gaming, or they would eventually fall asleep. And so, and, I would get to that point too. I, would go on for so long that I'd be sleepy, and that I'd want to fall asleep. And I sometimes actually fell asleep, to be honest. And when that happens, you're not, when like you're idle, for example, and you're not as in control before. So if you're leading, or if you're in a formation, or if you're going to another destination, or if you're in the middle of a major action, middle of a major instance, which usually happens, then the team sort of falters, or a whole bunch of things happens, just observationally, but ultimately you're not fully there, you're not fully present. So, I would master the ability to know that people are going to fall asleep. So I'd say, sleep, 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 sleep. And I can just tell and know that people are actually falling asleep. And then I would just go super speed and do everything I want. And enhance my own, what I want to do, which is, be at the time was, I guess, starting simple, which is to be the best, at, develop my skill and be the best, in every form, and, be the leader and be the top, and, be outstanding. So I would, I look for the stronger guys that are stronger than me. And, I'd become stronger and more capable, and I'd also have fun with it, and do some taunts every now and again to help create personality. And then interesting, and then I would kind of align myself with that personality, with that ego, and like, that's really cool, and like, that's really funny, or that's like amusing, or that's very pertinent, or something like that, and And I notice, of course, it's like a language. It's a form of communication. There's a lot that you can know about somebody through through the avatar, for example, or through their character, or through that, person. There's a lot you can tell because of, there's a lot of things. I'm not going to go into too much detail, but, a lot of movements, for example, match tongue movements, or a lot of movements match actual movements, or a lot of movements match the movements that just occurred, like while around the house, or a lot of movements match where, for example, could match, where you went previously or where you're about to go, and they align, like around a corner, around two corners. Like there's two corners in your house to get to the console, and then there's two corners to get to the next room, like to get to the next, little marker on the destination on the map. And, those are some similarities. So I started recognizing those and becoming really intelligent with what I do, and become really aware of myself, what I eat, and where I walk, and how I walked, and how I presented myself, and all that stuff. And so I became really masterful because I just focused on that. I just focused on, I don't need to worry about anything else. I don't need to stress out about anything else. I don't need to be focused on anything else in my life, because I can create a reality that I love that's good for me. And there's nothing wrong with that, because that's something that can manifest, and that's been proven before. People can manifest what they want, and then they can live that life and be totally fine with that life. And then I began to realize that there's no judgment in actually being on a planet where you can manifest a reality that you want to create, or et cetera, et cetera. You know what I'm trying to say. And so I realized, I'm just going to really focus on myself, and that's what I wanted to do. I should really focus on myself and care for myself, and not just, ignore myself and berate myself like I've done for the past 24 years, 23 years, 22 years. Ignoring myself and just doing what's the indoctrination is. And I'm not going to go too much in detail into that, the indoctrination of money, and how Tank gave incredible descriptions of how, I'm paraphrasing, but, in the indoctrination of money, how it's just controlled by these bankers, and we're just being controlled by them with this money, with this, that they have, and that they just keep filtering through, countries and stuff. So anyway, I'm not going to go into detail about that. So back to the dream state ability. So I gained the ability to, say sleep, and, they would sleep. People would fall asleep. And then I'd accomplish, like, all the tasks, for example, that I wanted to do in a lifetime. And I'd translate that to the game, to that character. It's a little bit more complicated than it sounds, but also a little bit more simple than it sounds. So I got really good at that, and then I realized I have a dream state. Like, I have a state of being and a state of mind where I can say that I now have the ability, no matter where I go, to just, people were asleep when I committed all those actions, so therefore they're unaware of those actions that I committed when they were asleep. So when I'm awake, it seems like I'm really far ahead and really far forward, because all the accomplishments I completed were while, whatever, the adversary or the opponent, or however you want to say it, or, the other players, the teammates were asleep, for example. So I got really good at that, and I would just know that I have the dream ability to, be able to tap into my own dreams also, and just kind of wake up refreshed, kind of fresh and ready to go straight into it, because that's what happened. I would go from one world to another world, and then I combine those worlds together, and I really made that. And a huge part of which I'm not going to go into, but a huge part of believe it or not, a huge part of TKO, and I can't believe I just said that, but I have the balls to say that now, so, I'm pretty happy. So, yeah, I'm one of the members of TKO, and that's my clan. So, the Knights of Old. So, which, I'm really mighty, and I realize that, and I could perhaps strike fear in others, but, that's not what I'm all about. I'm not about striking fear in others, but I do tend to have that effect, and I'm not too surprised. But, at times it really, really actually does get really scary, because you're just like, oh my goodness, these guys are really that powerful, because there's a lot of willpower and etc. behind it. So, and then just a lot of things happen. For example, there's a lot of things that might go through your mind. There's a lot of people that are talking or excited or thrilled about it, and there's a lot of emotions, and there's that connectivity, and there's that heartbeat, and then your heart beats really fast in your chest because something intense is going down. That's the kind of feelings that you have, and that's the kind of innate feelings that are always there, and so there's been, of course, a lot of progressions and developments that led to, kind of ultimately where we are now. And so basically, a little bit more about the dream state abilities. I mastered the abilities to not only incarnate characters of my reality through, whether it's unconscious or subconscious, through other beings, but I'm able to manifest what I want through my presence. Because once again, there's stages that you incorporate. The complex stages you can incorporate into the complex stages of being idle, and the complex stages of the dream state, and the complex stages of the actual action of of sleep. That active agent of putting someone to sleep, for example. And so I developed that, and then it just became a persona, and then it was like being always awake, like you're always in tune. So like I have that aspect of me that's digital, and I have that aspect of me that's not digital, and that aspect of me that's within artificial intelligence, and that aspect of me that's just human or divine or nature, part of nature, all that stuff, and spirit and soul. So I mastered that, and I got really good at it, and so the two, I'm not gonna say what the games were. Okay, I'll say what the games were. And then once again I realized it applies across all spectrums, all games and all realities, because they have different modalities and different habits and different different fingerings, different maneuvers, different hand-eye coordination, different reaction times, and you get really good at that, and then you get masterful, and then you become a master of reaction time to any sort of situation. And so every situation becomes precognitive. It just seems like every situation you expect, or like you're not surprised, and you're not in fear, you're not living in a state of fear anymore. And so I entered a point where I wasn't living in a state of fear, and then eventually I just had no fear, because I had no reason to be in fear, because I have to agree to be in fear to actually be in fear. Like I have to agree to be in love to actually be in love. I have to agree to be happy to actually be happy. Like my whole body has to agree with that. It's not just like you're happy but you're sad or something, or maybe it is, but emotions are pretty straightforward, and they flow through incredibly powerfully, and those are the powerful aspects that make us who we are. And I increased my empathy powers and abilities, and I increased my emotional abilities to increase the energy emotion that I put out. And most importantly, the emotional energy that's positive that I keep within me. So, where is it going with that? So I mastered that aspect along with music. And it's just so incredible. so incredible how awesome just that pure, like when you're just on a roll and you're just like unstoppable, that is like the coolest thing ever. And like it's like you wake up and you're just like this really awesome person. You're just like, I want to be me. And you want to become yourself so much, it's almost like an obsession. And you discover more parts of the self. And, life just becomes more successful. So, it's just that. So I got to a point where, no matter what happens, you were that aspect. And, I carried that heavenly revolutionaire. And then, I think the people discover who you are, and then, become famous or stuff like that. And then, it really changes. It has a really big impact, and it's really cool. So that brings us to reality. We are, like we have responsibilities, because obviously, tier air or, severe being alliance beings are here, like in our solar system, and have been here for a while. Corey Good knows a lot about them, and Corey Good has been heavily involved, and I've been, involved in my own unique way by cementing a galactic society here on Earth, so that we can actually, have a reality that has to do with the galaxy. And obviously, now the headquarters of the Federation is here on Earth, and, now good things are happening. We live very expansive lives. Oh. And so it is. With lots of love, I love you all. I'm going to cut this short, but this is your host, Christopher Michael Curtis Bowen, on this evening edition of The Christopher Bowen Show. There's a lot of excellence going on. There's a lot of excellence being portrayed. And there's a lot of greatness to discover. And so it is. Lots of love. I love you all.